What's up, guys? Logan here with Healthcare Stress Relief. I am here today with Thomas Peabody. He's a financial advisor. I'll go ahead and let him do all the introduction.
Yeah, so it's nice to meet you guys virtually. Don't mind the sheet hanging in the window. We just got new windows yesterday, so we had to replace our curtains. But yeah, so like Logan said, I'm a financial advisor. I work almost exclusively with nurses, tons of new grads, and I talk to them about working on their financial well-being, and how that kind of plays into your mental health and just overall making life a little bit easier for you, because as you're well aware, Logan, it's not an easy job.
No,
It's a very stressful job.
And when you have financial troubles, it's just compounding.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what got you into working with nurses in particular?
Yeah. So, it kind of started with me having a lot of family in nursing. I have an aunt who was a nurse I was very, very close with growing up. It was kind of like my second home. And, I met some of her nursing friends, and then I went to college and met a bunch of other nurses. So I knew a lot of nurses when I started working in finance. Originally, I started with the military and then transitioned over to working with a lot of nurses and really found a passion with that. And what I think it is more just being able to work with people that care about other people. Because in my line of work, I'm sure you're aware that there's some people out there that just don't. And that's not who I am, and that's not who I want to be. That's why, I gravitate towards working with people who genuinely care about others. And not only their health, but their well-being in general. So
Amazing.
I think that's kind of, what gravitated me that way.
And then what interested you in finance?
So that actually goes back a long ways. When I was growing up, my family didn't have a lot of money. And my parents, my dad had a garage. He was a mechanic for a while. And, we had a good relationship. I worked in the garage from the time I was 6 till I was probably 12. And then my little brother was born, and my parents had a falling out. They split, and my dad unfortunately ran up quite a bit of debt in my mom's name. And ever since then, I kind of had to take on the role of being, that father figure for my brother, but also, learning about money and understanding the value. And, I've just been on a tear trying to be the best I can be from that, perspective, since I was a kid. I love to work. I work every day, Monday to Sunday, barring church in the morning. And yeah, it's just, I've just been, the entrepreneurial mindset for me is just something that it's motivating. It drives me.
Amazing. What are the big problems that you see with nurses in terms of their money mindset?
Well, believe it or not, actually, one of the biggest ones I run into is getting used to having money. So, going through nursing school, going through college in general, you are broke. You're eating ramen noodles most of the time. A lot of, you're going to clinicals, you're dead tired studying. You graduate, now you got to take the NCLEX, and that's a huge stressor. And then you pass that, you get a job, and it's like, okay, now I'm making good money now. And then you start, your student loans hit, which, that's really the big one that I find causes a lot of issues. Even for me personally, I have more than I would like to talk about student loan debt. And so, getting used to having that money and knowing where to put it is actually a bigger issue than you would think.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you get used to having it and you spend it on things. You get used to living a certain way. And, most nurses aren't taught financial health. So they're not well-rounded when it comes to having a solid financial plan. And that's not anyone's fault. What I tell a lot of nurses is I don't walk into a hospital and try to change my own IV. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a nurse. I will never pretend to be a nurse or know how to do your job. That's just not who I am. Just like I don't expect nurses to try to develop complex financial plans or holistic financial plans. It's not your job. And honestly, most of the time you guys don't have just the time to think about it, So
Yeah.
that's a couple, and the list goes on, and it's different for everyone too. I mean, everybody's, from a professional standpoint, nurses run into a lot of similar issues, but from a personal standpoint, everybody's different. So everybody's financial life looks different. Everybody's personal life looks different. People have different goals, and that's really what I'm out to help people do is accomplish those goals. So, your goals could be different from my goals, could be different from Jim or John or Jane's goals over at, Albany Med or NYU Langone or, New York Pres. I mean, the list goes on and on. Trinity, just, and so it's, trying to figure out how we can help you accomplish those goals the most efficient way possible.
Yeah. A big problem I saw when I was working, because I was blessed enough to have time as a new grad to study financial stuff. And a lot of my coworkers, I was 24 and they were coming to me for financial advice at 50 years old. And obviously I'm not a financial advisor, but they're all like in massive debt, mortgages, car payments, buying new cars. And they're like, how do you have any savings left over? I was like, because I'm still driving a 2007 Toyota Yaris. It gets me from A to B.
Right. Yeah,
and it's kind of the keeping up with the Joneses mentality that a lot of people have. They're buying things to make them happy instead of experiences and time.
Yeah. And I mean, I could ask you this question. I ask most people this question. I said, what's your biggest asset in life?
My time and energy. Yeah.
100%. You know what's funny is you're actually the first person that's ever answered that with time, which is awesome.
And I also think energy is more important than time, because you could have all the time in the world, but if you're sick, then you have nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that all just ties back into, being healthy, mentally, physically, financially, and feeling good about yourself, and that's, kind of the sad world we live in, where we live in a world where, like you're saying, keeping up with the Joneses, looking at what everybody else has and thinking or, expecting that we should have those things as well. Little do you know, your 50-year-old coworker driving the Mercedes that has the $400,000 house is $1 million in debt and is miserable, and that's, we work with, I mean, multi-millionaire business owners sometimes, that are just miserable, it's not, money is not an issue. It's not so much the money itself. It's the relative effect that it has on our lives.
Yeah.
And finding out, what it's going to do for you. What is your money doing for you? What are you doing to make yourself healthier? What can you do? That's what, and that's important.
And yeah, my good friend and roommate always says this, but he's like, money only really solves one problem: money problems.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But we're so consumed with money because we see it in music videos and in our culture. But anyone who has a lot of money will tell you that it's not going to give you what you want. It will allow you to buy some things, but the happiness has to come from within.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I mean, you talk to a millionaire and ask them what they want, and they're going to say, I want more money. You can ask someone making $30,000-$40,000 a year, where they want more money, and why? Because they want to be happy. You could go to that same $30,000-$40,000 a year income earner, with a family that is spending all their time and energy with their family on it and things that they care about. What they're going to tell you, they want more time. They want more time with their family. They don't care about the money, because they understand that it's important, but it's only going to get you so much. And like, tying back to what we originally said, developing that plan that's going to accomplish those goals, so that when you put it in place, you feel confident in it and you know where it's going to get you, right? You got to be able to measure it. If you can measure it, then you know where you're going. It makes life a lot easier. Nobody drives on the highway with their headlights off. and unfortunately that's the path a lot of people take, man. You get to the hospital, you go through orientation, you talk to your preceptor a little bit, and it's like, what are you doing? Or, what are you doing? You're in the break room. It's like, what are you doing in your 403B? What are you doing in your 401k? I just, I throw this amount in, 10%, 15%, call it good. Okay. You do that, you sign up, you work 30 years, you get to retirement. It's like, all right, what do I got? And, you have all these plans for retirement. Every day is a Saturday in retirement. Every day is a Saturday. You want to do the things you love. If at that point, you probably have grandkids who are going to be, I don't have grandkids. I have a newborn son who's like it's all I want to do is hang out with my son. And I can only imagine what it's going to feel like to have grandkids.
Yeah.
But you get to the point and you have all these plans to spend time with your family, and, can you do that based on what kind of position you put yourself in? And unless you've had a conversation with someone like myself or yourself about that, having that overall wellness, chances are you won't be well. You go to the doctors once a year to get a checkup. You don't just skip going to the doctors and expect to be healthy in 30 years when they give you a checkup,
Yeah, but even I mean, I see it with some family members as well. In certain areas of their life, they're very healthy, but then going to the doctor for my dad, he won't do it. Like he'll go once every 5 years when he has an issue. It's the same thing with people with money, right? But is it a lot of times because people don't want to face the fear of having to look at the bank account when it's in the red?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely part of it. And a lot of times it's a really hard conversation for people to have. Money talk is becoming a little bit more accepted. But if you think about, our parents, that next generation, they don't talk about their money.
Taboo. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a conversation a lot of people want to have. And, thankfully it's becoming a little more accepted where, people are open to, talking about those kinds of things. And, it's like you said it with your dad, he'll only go to the doctors when he has a problem. And that's the same thing with people when they run into, health problems. People don't seek insurance because they want insurance. People seek insurance because they're sick.
Yeah.
People, they don't look for, ways to make money when they already have money. They look for ways to make money when they need money. And unfortunately, a lot of times it's already kind of not too late, but if you had taken the proper planning and, flicked your headlights on five years ago, it would be a lot easier to plan for those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And if you get somewhere and it's like, oh, I need this or I need that. And it's like, all right, well, these things take time. So.
And the best time to plant a seed was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, late is better than never. Better late than never. I can't believe I messed that saying up. The most cliche saying of all time. Couldn't even get that right.
But if you are young and you're a nurse just starting out, you should talk to Tom, because compound interest is like, I think Einstein regarded it as the eighth wonder of the world. It's ridiculous what you can do with compound interest.
Yeah, the power of compound interest. I mean, you could, we use the rule of 72. Basically when your rate of return and the amount of time that you've been invested in something reaches 72, your money will double. Now, most people over the course of their lifetime have 4, 5, 6, 7, depending on when you start, doubling periods. And the thing that most people miss is with compound interest, when you wait, say, and I'm sure you've seen the graphs from, the guy that started at 18 for 6 years, and then the guy that started at 3 and he went all the way to 65, and how that guy at 18 has more. The reason that is because when you start, you only have so many of those doubling periods. When you start late, you're not missing the beginning doubling periods. You're missing the last doubling periods. So when you're missing that $500,000 to $1 million jump, not the $5,000 to a $10,000 jump. You're missing that last one, which is the most impactful one. So the longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes to build that wealth. And, that all goes into, what is that wealth going to do with you? How many buckets of money do you have, and what are they being used for? That's, that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, I could talk on for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk for hours one day. But yeah, I also realized this year on my own entrepreneur journey was that there's more than just money. It's putting your money into, sometimes instead of saving it, I think it's also good to put your money into investing in yourself, to build long-term skill sets that are going to make you more money.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, if you're not, and that's anybody with any business, you talk to any business owner or any sort of entrepreneur, then they're going to tell you, you can't start a successful business without investing back into the business. Most businesses don't even turn a profit for 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. A lot of people, you have to understand that it's okay not to turn a profit right away. And investing in yourself, even if you fail, even if this business isn't the one that works out for you, think about all the skills that you've now gained to, for that next journey that you take. Because once you start into the business world, you don't stop. You don't just own a business and then go back to, working a 9 to 5. Not that working a 9 to 5 is bad. Well, I know for nurses, 7 to 7, it's a little bit more than 9 to 5.
I was 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. That was pretty brutal.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, but like if somebody stripped away all of your money and you had nothing left, you have the skill set to just be able to do it again. You would have no worries.
Right. Yeah. Build yourself. You are the business, especially for someone like yourself who, it's not like you have, you're not selling shoes.
Yeah.
You're you are the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're building your brand around your beliefs and your experiences and the way that you've been able to impact the lives of others. That's something that people appreciate and respect, and myself included. I can definitely attest to that, because I'm not selling shoes either. You know what I mean? I am me. When you go to, work on yourself, you're not buying a table, you're not buying a set of shoes, you're not buying a mouse. You're buying, and personally, I don't charge a fee, but like, you're buying the experience of working with me.
Yeah.
And all I can hope is that I'm able to have a good enough impact on you or whoever it is, to, where you feel comfortable introducing me to other people that I can also have an impact on. And, like I said, I work with people who care. I want to work with people who genuinely care about other people, because I genuinely care about people. That's, I don't want anybody to have to go down the route that I saw my mom have to go down, working all the time, never really getting a chance to spend that time with her kids because she's so worried about putting food on the table or buying me a new pair of cleats to go play football or baseball or, wrestling or whatever it is that I wanted to do. And people shouldn't have to worry about those things. It becomes really hard when that becomes the focus of your energy, and it's tough.
Yeah. Just to be wary of your time, I'll ask one more question. What does true abundance mean to you?
True abundance, freedom. One word, if I could sum up true abundance, would be freedom.
Freedom to do the things you want, right?
Exactly. Freedom to love my family, freedom to, spend time with my family, have the energy to go on a walk around the block whenever I feel like it. I look out the window right now through my makeshift curtain for the time being. The sun's out. How great would it be if, I could just close my computer, get up, throw Colt in the stroller, and the three of us could just walk down around the block for, a half hour or an hour. And, if we're walking around the block and we want to stop and get a coffee, then we can stop and do that. Or, if I want to take them to the park and say, I'm taking another hour, we can do that. That's really what abundance to me is. And it's the freedom.
Yeah, I agree. Cool, Tom. So where are you working out of right now?
So right now, right now I'm in my apartment, but
Your
my offices.
practice is online though, right?
Yeah, well, I have two offices in person, in the capital region, New York capital region area. That's in Latham, New York.
Cool.
And then I have another office in Saratoga, New York. And then, I'm licensed in a lot of different states, and I'm always willing to, go out and seek and get a new license to work with, whoever wants to have a conversation, and whoever feels like they could benefit from a conversation. Um, I'll go out and get those licenses to be able to work with those people. Um, but yeah, I meet a lot of people online. I love it because, I'm able to make connections from, I'm in New York all the way to California. I have clients in California, Florida, Virginia, you know, uh, Georgia, and Arizona. The list goes on and on and on. I love it. I love it because you get to hear so many different experiences. Um, so, but yeah, yep.
Amazing. And how can people reach you?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna reach out and find me, it's at the RN Financial page on Instagram, and
That's with
or I mean, you
underscores,
could reach.
the underscore RN underscore financial page, right?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Logan.
And
Yeah,
I'll put it in the YouTube
the
comments as well.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Or if you want to send me a LinkedIn request, I think it's just Tom Peabody on there. You'll see my big ugly mug
Smiling
with a
face.
smoke. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Feel free to send me a request. I'd love to chat with anybody, even if it's not about, business. If anybody just wants to chat, has questions, always more than welcome to shoot me a message and please mention that you saw this on Logan's channel, so that we can coordinate and talk about things like that.
You're amazing. Thanks so much for being on, Tom. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you. Take
Appreciate
care.
you appreciating me. Take care.